You know, chums, I told you this would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is because, of course, you're talking about two women, whether you want to agree on the second one or not, but very powerful women in the world who both know they can command attention, they can command headlines and worldwide interest.
A legendary American icon just publicly humiliated Meghan Markle. And the magazine that ran the story, they deliberately didn't warn her it was coming. Why? Because Meghan just learned the most brutal lesson in celebrity. Nobody's loyalty is for sale when you stop selling magazines. You know, I told you this would get bigger and bigger. We're watching two powerful women collide in the most public way possible. On one side, Martha Stewart, the undisputed queen of American lifestyle branding. On the other, Meghan Markle, whose attempts at reinvention keep spectacularly failing. And what just happened behind the scenes at People magazine reveals exactly why one of these women has built an empire while the other can't even sell jam. If you want the unfiltered truth about how celebrity really works, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's dive in. Here's what people don't understand about Meghan Markle. She can absolutely generate headlines. Whether you love her or hate her, she commands attention. Click on any major news site and you'll find multiple stories about her. The tabloids are obsessed. Social media erupts every time her name appears. Ted Sarandos over at Netflix saw those headlines and thought he'd struck gold. All those clicks must translate into viewership, right? All that fascination must mean people actually want to consume her content. Wrong. And this is where it gets interesting. I've seen this pattern dozens of times throughout my career working with major celebrities. You get these pop stars who can dominate the tabloid front pages week after week. They're notorious. Everyone's talking about them. They marry someone controversial. They have public meltdowns. They generate endless gossip. But here's the problem. Nobody actually buys their music. The tabloid attention doesn't translate into commercial success. People are fascinated by the train wreck. But they don't want to actually invest in the person. They won't buy the album. They won't attend the concert. They'll read about the drama, but they won't become genuine fans. That's exactly what's happening with Meghan Markle. She can get the headlines. She can generate the clicks, but can she sell the jam? Can she get people to actually watch her cooking show? Can she build a genuine brand that people want to buy into? The evidence is pretty clear. No, she cannot. Now let's talk about Martha Stewart, because the contrast here is absolutely crucial. I'll be honest, over here in the United Kingdom, we didn't know that much about Martha Stewart. She wasn't a household name like she is in America. But when you actually look at her work, when you watch her content, something becomes immediately obvious. This woman is genuinely passionate about what she does. When Martha teaches you how to make something, you can see the authentic expertise. She's not just performing for the camera. She's actually showing you techniques, sharing real knowledge, giving you tips that come from decades of genuine experience. You watch her and you think, actually, I could do that. She's making this accessible. She's teaching me something real. Now compare that to Meghan Markle's cooking content. Throughout that entire Netflix show, did you ever actually see Meghan make anything from scratch? I'm serious. Think about it. We see her chopping an onion, quite badly I might add. We see her transferring things into decorative containers. But if you're supposedly teaching people how to make shepherd's pie, where's the actual cooking? Where's peeling the potatoes, preparing the mince, building the layers, explaining the technique? It's all what we call Blue Peter effect over here in the UK. You know, here's one I made earlier. The finished product just magically appears without T showing the actual work. With Martha, you see the passion. It's authentic. She genuinely wants you to succeed at making these things. With Meghan, you see performance. It feels manufactured, staged, like she's playing the role of someone who cooks rather than actually being passionate about cooking. And this authenticity problem, it's not new for Meghan Markle. Let's review her track record, shall we? She was an actress. That didn't quite work out the way she hoped. She tried being a podcaster. That failed spectacularly. Spotify dropped her. She attempted to be a working royal. She couldn't handle it and left. Now she's trying to be a lifestyle guru, and it's not working either. Every single venture follows the same pattern. Big announcement, massive publicity, initial excitement, then complete deflation when people realize there's no substance behind the branding. People over here in the UK have someone like Mary Berry. When Mary tells you not to make things too complicated, when she says it's perfectly fine to use shop-bought pastry, you believe her. She's warm, she's genuine, she's been doing this for decades. You trust her because her expertise is real. With Meghan, we all know she's an actress first. Everything feels like a performance, and when people sense that inauthenticity, they simply don't buy in. The true essence of the problem is this. Nobody's actually bothered about what Meghan Markle is selling. They'll read about her drama, but they won't buy her products. Now here's where the story gets absolutely fascinating from an insider perspective. The Martha Stewart interview appeared in People magazine, and according to my source who works inside that publication, they made a very deliberate decision. They did not alert Meghan Markle's team that this story was coming. Think about what that means. When you're a journalist sitting across from Martha Stewart and she gives you that quote about Meghan Markle, you know immediately you've got gold. You know that's your headline. You know that's going to generate massive attention. And People magazine knew it too. But here's the thing. They calculated that running the story without warning Meghan would generate more attention, more clicks, more magazine sales than maintaining their relationship with her. That's brutal, but it's also revealing. People magazine has been essentially Meghan Markle's mouthpiece for years. They've run countless puff pieces about her. They gave her sympathetic coverage. They were her go-to publication for getting her side of the story out. Remember when Meghan took them on those fake royal tours? That was the deal. You give us exclusive access, we give you favorable coverage. But here's what Meghan didn't understand, that loyalty only lasts as long as you're profitable. Magazines care about one thing, shifting copies, generating clicks, making revenue. When Catherine, Princess of Wales, appeared on a recent People magazine summer cover, it sold incredibly well. That's what magazines want. That's what keeps them in business. If they think they'll get more revenue by blindsiding Meghan Markle with an unfavorable story, they're absolutely going to do it. Your friendship with the publication means nothing if you're not moving units. Meghan genuinely believed she had this special connection with People magazine. She thought they were her allies, her supporters, her friendly press outlet. But magazines don't have the money to pander to failing celebrities anymore. The industry is struggling. Print is dying. They need stories that generate massive engagement. And right now, stories about Meghan's failures generate more interest than stories from Meghan about her successes. That's the cold, hard reality of the entertainment industry. I've seen this play out countless times with major pop stars. They're huge tabloid fodder. Every magazine wants to cover them. But when the albums stop selling, when the concerts stop selling out, suddenly those same magazines that were their friends turn on them instantly. Because it was never friendship, it was business. And here's where People magazine got absolutely brilliant from a business perspective. They got a double whammy out of this situation. First, they ran the Martha Stewart story with that devastating quote about Meghan. That generated enormous attention, clicks, social media discussion. Then, when Meghan's team inevitably hit back, trying to defend her, that became a second story. More clicks, more engagement, more revenue. Meanwhile, Martha Stewart comes out of this looking even better. She's positioned as the authentic expert versus the pretender. The woman with real credentials versus the woman trying to buy credibility. Martha didn't even need to apologize or clarify. Her comment stood on its own merit because she has the expertise to back up her opinions. Meghan, on the other hand, looked desperate in her response. And here's the stinging part that's really going to define this moment. Meghan Markle, who did that fake curtsy mockery on her Netflix documentary and never apologized for insulting the late Queen, is now refusing to apologize to Martha Stewart. Instead, the best we got was suggesting Martha might have been confused. Confused? Martha Stewart, one of the most successful businesswomen in American history, is confused? That response makes Meghan look even worse. This situation isn't going away, and it's going to define Meghan Markle in the long run. Here's why. This crystallizes everything people already suspect about her. She's inauthentic. She's trying to build a brand in areas where she has no genuine expertise. She's coasting on fame rather than talent. And when real experts in those fields call her out, she can't handle it gracefully. The fake curtsy moment showed disrespect for the institution she married into. This Martha Stewart situation shows she can't handle criticism from people who actually know what they're doing. Both moments reveal the same problem. Meghan believes her celebrity status should exempt her from normal standards of expertise, respect, and accountability. But that's not how lasting success works. Martha Stewart built her empire over decades through genuine knowledge, hard work, and real expertise. She went to prison and came back stronger because her brand was built on substance, not just celebrity. Meghan's trying to shortcut that process. She wants the empire without putting in the decades of work. She wants the credibility without developing the actual expertise. And the public can tell. That's why her jam doesn't sell. That's why Netflix is distancing themselves. That's why even friendly magazines are now willing to run unfavorable stories about her. The most brutal lesson Meghan Markle is learning right now is this. Tabloid fascination is not the same as genuine support. People will read about your drama. They'll click on stories about your failures. They'll discuss your controversies on social media. But that doesn't mean they'll actually buy what you're selling. Martha Stewart doesn't need to generate tabloid drama because she's built something real. She's created genuine value that people want to pay for. Meghan Markle generates plenty of headlines, but she hasn't created anything of genuine value that people actually want. And until she understands that fundamental difference, every venture she attempts is going to follow the same pattern. Big announcement, initial hype, then spectacular failure. The magazines that she thought were her friends have now shown their true colors. They'll use her for clicks, but they won't protect her when better stories come along. Harry's backing her up 100%, of course, but that doesn't change the fundamental reality. This is a defining moment that reveals exactly why Meghan Markle keeps failing while people like Martha Stew. Art keeps succeeding. Authenticity matters. Expertise matters. Genuine passion matters. And you can't fake any of those things long term, no matter how many magazine covers you appear on. What do you think about this whole situation? Is Martha Stewart right to call out Meghan's lack of expertise? Or should she have been more diplomatic? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and I want to hear your perspective. And if you want more unfiltered analysis of what's really happening with the royals and celebrity culture, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. We're tracking all of these stories as they develop. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.